Let's discuss about the domain 13, that is security as a service. The slide shows the different objectives related to the domain. Yeah, you guessed it right. Security as a service, SECaaS, offers security capabilities as a cloud service. For a technology to qualify as SECaaS, it must meet the following criteria. 1. The security product must be delivered as a cloud service based on subscription model. 2. The service must meet the NIST characteristics for cloud computing. Do you recall these essential characteristics? Let's discuss about the benefits that SECaaS brings to the table. 1. Cloud computing benefits. So there are multiple cloud computing benefits, including agility, redundancy, high availability, and reduced costs. You might be able to understand these by now. 2. Staffing and expertise. As the SECaaS are completely dedicated to cover the security aspect of business, they have extensive domain knowledge. Organizations don't have to train in-house security professionals. Therefore, organizations can use the extensive domain knowledge and research that SECaaS professionals provide. 3. Intelligence sharing. Let's understand this by example. For instance, a malware sample is found in one client. SECaaS providers will add the sample to their defensive platform, and by doing so, will protect the rest of the clients against that particular malware. Since SECaaS providers protect lots of customers, they share data intelligence related to security. This is best explained by an example. 4. Deployment flexibility. SECaaS is capable of supporting evolving workplaces and cloud migrations. This is made possible by its broad network and elasticity. 5. Insulation of clients. SECaaS is able to intercept attacks before they hit the client directly. This is done through technologies such as spam filtering and cloud-based web applications. 6. Scaling and cost. Due to SECaaS cloud model, the consumer pays as he grows. This lets the client organization to focus on their core business, knowing that their security concerns are taken care of. Let's discuss about the concerns that SECaaS brings to the table. 1. Lack of visibility. So this part is tricky. Due to SECaaS security operating at a distance or in the background of a client, they often provide less data as compared to the client running his own operation. Therefore, the SECaaS provider may not reveal details of how they implement their security environment. The customer may not get some information in which they were accustomed to get when they ran their own operation. Therefore, all these factors should be determined before entering into an agreement. 2. Regulation differences. Since there are different regulations in different locations, the SECaaS providers may be unable to assure in compliance in all locations that an organization operates in. 3. Handling of regulated data. Customers need assurance that any regulated data collected during a routine security scanning is handled in accordance with any compliance requirements. This also needs to comply with international jurisdictional differences. 4. Data leakage. In any cloud computing service, there is always the risk of data from one cloud user leaking to another. Therefore, clients want to ensure their data does not leak when such situations involving another client on the service occur. 5. Changing providers. So this comes under the portability and interoperability umbrella, where exchanging one SECaaS provider for another may seem easier than changing hardware and software. But there is always a chance of vendor locking. However, organizations may be concerned about losing access to data, including historical data that may be needed for compliance or investigative support. 6. Migration to SECaaS. For organizations that already have pre-existing security operations and security control solutions, the migration to SECaaS providers must be well planned, exercised, and maintained. The following list describes many common categories of products that fall under security as a service. 1. Identity, entitlement, and access management services. As quite imperative by its name, this type of service providers cover features like strong authentication options, including mobile device apps, tokens for MFA, and single sign-on. Identity as a service is a term that covers many of the services that comprise an identity ecosystem, such as policy enforcement points, PEP as a service, and policy decision points, PDP as a service. They help ease the complexity of connecting to external services. 2. Cloud Access and Security Brokers, CASB, also known as Cloud Security Gateways. The unique selling proposition for these providers is that these products intercept communications directed towards a cloud service via an API in order to monitor activity, enforce policy, and detect security issues. You might have heard about the DLPs, which is Data Loss Preventions, and DRM, that is Digital Rights Management. They are mostly used to manage an organization's sanctioned and unsanctioned SaaS services. They can also connect to an on-premises tool to help an organization to detect and even block cloud usage and unapproved services. 3. Web security. Web security gateways. Web security involves real-time protection offered either on-premise through software, appliance installation, or via the cloud by redirecting web traffic to the cloud provider. This provides an added layer of protection on top of other protection. It can also enforce policy rules around web access and the time frame allowed. So, a web application firewall can be considered as an example. 4. Email security. This service should provide control over inbound and outbound email, protecting the organization from risks like phishing and malicious attachments. Also, this solution may offer policy-based encryption of emails and other features such as digital signatures. 5. Security assessment. Security assessments are third-party or customer-driven audits of cloud services via cloud-provided solutions. There are 3 main categories of security assessments. 1. Traditional security assessments of assets that are deployed in the cloud. For example, virtual machines. 2. Application security assessments, including SAST, which is a white box testing, and DAST, which is a black box testing, and management of RASP. 3. Cloud platform assessment tools that connect directly with the cloud service over API to assess the assets deployed in the cloud and the cloud configuration. 6. Web application firewalls. In a cloud-based WAF, Customers redirect traffic using DNS to a service that filters traffic before passing it through to the destination web application. Many of these WAFs have anti-DDoS capabilities. 7. Intrusion Detection Prevention IDS IPS. These systems monitor behavior patterns using rule-based behavioral models to detect anomalies in activity which might present risks to the enterprise. Rule-based model means that you define network rules to allow or disallow any traffic. If the cloud resource has been tried to be accessed by an IP that is not mentioned in the rule, that may be a case of IDS. With this service, the information feeds into a service provider's managed platform, as opposed to the client being responsible for analyzing events themselves. 8. Security Information and Event Management SIEM. These systems aggregate log and event data from virtual and real networks, applications, and systems. This information is then correlated and analyzed to provide real-time reporting of information that may require intervention or other types of responses. 9. Encryption and Key Management. This service encrypts data and manages encryption keys. They may be offered by cloud services to support customer-managed encryption and data security. 10. Business Continuity and Disaster Recovery. A provider of this service backs up data from individual systems to a cloud platform instead of relying on local storage. They may use a local gateway to speed up data transfers with the cloud service, serving as the final repository for archival purposes. 11. Security Management. This service rolls up traditional security management capabilities, such as network security and mobile device management, into a single cloud service. This reduces the need for local management servers and is well suited for distributed organizations. 12. Distributed Denial of Service Protection. Most DDoS protections are cloud-based. They operate by rerouting traffic through the DDoS service in order to absorb attacks before they can affect the customer's own infrastructure. Recommendations. So I'd like to read out the recommendations listed by CSA. So these are: before engaging a SECaaS supplier, make sure you understand any security explicit necessities for data handling and accessibility, analytical, and consistent support. Pay keen consideration regarding the handling of regulated information, such as PII. Understand your data retention needs and select a supplier that can bolster data feeds that don't create a lock-in circumstance. Ensure that the SECaaS administration is compatible with your present and tentative arrangements. For example, its bolstered cloud and on-premises platforms, the workstation, and the mobile operating systems it accommodates, etc. So this is all in all we need to know from Security as a Service module.